So while dad and son and the neighbors and everybody's having a wonderful homecoming celebration, the other brother gets in from his day and says, "What's going on? I hear music and singing and dancing. What's going on? It's not Passover. It's not Hanukkah. Nobody's birthday. What's going on?" And one of the servants comes by and he says, "What's up?" He says, "Your brother, who was lost, has returned home, and your father's killed the fattened calf." He gets pissed off. He's like, "Oh no. You have got to be kidding me." And he won't go in. He's so angry. But that father, that loving father, that forgiving father who just keeps being affronted by his sons, here is affronted again because he won't come in and welcome the guests that the head of the household has. No, he's willing to come out to meet him where he is too. He met the one son far off. He meets this son outside the house where he's fuming. He pleads with him. But that older son says, "I've always been loyal. I've been like a slave for you. I've always been here. And you never so much as gave us a goat for my friends. And you throw a party for me. Oh no, I'm not taking this." And then the father says, Son, you know that you're always with me. And all that I have is yours. But this brother of yours," I noticed that the son said this son of yours, and he said this brother of yours. "This brother of yours was dead and is now alive. He was lost, but now is found." We have to celebrate. Good ends. We don't know whether the other brother ends up and goes in. We don't know what the father does. It just stops right there. But of course it does. Because this is one long, continuous parable of 3 parables of things that are lost. Jesus answering the question of the grumbling Pharisees. That Jesus, though, eats with sinners and tax collectors. Jesus trying to explain what he's up to, what God's up to in this parable. Who's the prodigal? The prodigal son who spends, extravagantly wastes, squanders? The father who gave and still declared a party when his wasteful son came home? Perhaps is it the story of the prodigal God who spends and spends recklessly, extravagantly, but never saying enough is enough. Constantly keep saying there's more than enough. These Pharisees, they were the A+ students. They were the top Jews, the star yeshiva boys. They kept kosher. They said their prayers. They had their talits and their tefillin right at the arm's length. They knew all the laws and they kept them. They were really good, observant ones. They weren't too happy with this Jesus fellow, this rabbi who came around breaking all the rules, saying God maybe didn't care as much about the rules and more about reconciliation and grace. They didn't like that. But maybe Jesus' point is, you're like the first son. You've always had a place. You still have a place. It's for all the ones that ran away or that got kicked out that I've come to bring them in too. It's for those mess-ups and those screw-ups that I've come. It's to bring in the lowly and the forgotten, even those ham-eating boys that I've come to embrace them too. Tax collectors and prostitutes and lapses all. First and second son, you're both with me. God spends extravagantly, even wastefully, that we might all be brought in. And what about us? This parable still speaks to us. Sometimes I think I'm like the first son, and sometimes like the second. Some days I can be really self-righteous, really holier than thou. I'm an A-plus Christian. Right? I mean, I'm a millennial and I'm a pastor. I mean, come on now. I'm like a unicorn of the church. Right? Good. I show up on Sunday. I care about people. I give my money. I'm a really good Christian. So sometimes it just kind of pisses me off when God says I gotta love the other people. Especially the ones who don't show up. Or don't care as much, or don't come around, or the ones who scoff and scorn, that I gotta remember that God loves them too, and it just sometimes gets me. Have you ever thought that? Sometimes that first son. But then again, some days I just realize I'm that second son wallowing in the pigs. Sometimes it just strikes me, God, how have I wandered? God, how have I squandered so much? God's rich, abundant blessings, God's gifts, God's relationships that I just let come in and go. Opportunities missed. Gifts just missed over. The first son and the second son, I think most of us are both. And yet God reaches out to both sons, the same Father. The same extravagant, loving Father who wants to bring all of us in, all the world. The same Father who will kill the fatted calf. The Father who knows no end to his love. The Father who would send his only begotten to die. Our fatted calf on a cross. To declare welcome and return, a homecoming, rejoicing. God says there's nothing I won't do to bring you back. There's nothing I won't do to welcome you home in all the world. With a robe and a signet ring and shoes, because we got shoes. All God's children got shoes. We're walking down God's heaven. So prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. God runs out to greet us. God won't let us go. God holds on. So come, ye sinners, forward here, weak and ruined by the fall. If you tarry until you're able, you'll never come at all. So rise and come to Jesus. So stands with welcome arms, ready to embrace you. Never let you go.